Okay, everybody, we're going to go directly into the lab exercise, and I'm going to go through the instructions from when you open Canvas and you activate Activity 1. So when we activate Activity 1, it gives us our workbench that we're going to be working with. So what we're going to do in this exercise is we're going to make up a solution of magnesium chloride. And so what we would recognize is that right here is our workbench, and we're just going to go through the instructions. We're going to go over to our stock room, and in our stock room, we have distilled water, and we have some magnesium chloride. So we're going to drag the distilled water to our workbench, and then we're going to go back to stock room, so we have to toggle that, and then we'll tag on our magnesium chloride. So we have two items on our workbench that we're going to be using. So what else do we need here? Well, let's move down a little bit so we can see the full screen. We're going to go back to our stock room, and we're going to go after some glassware. And if we open up our glassware, one thing that we're going to need for today's experiment is a volumetric flask. So we're going to choose the 100 milliliter volumetric flask, and that'll show up once again on our workbench. And also in this glassware cabinet, if we move down a little bit, we see there's another item here. It says Other, and we're going to pick our weighing boat. So we got to go down a little further. So be patient. Sometimes you have to move down by using the sidebar. Choose weighing boat. Okay, we have almost everything we need. Let's go back to the top of the page, go to Tools, and choose our scale. So there's our scale. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through the steps now to make up a magnesium chloride solution. And we're going to make up a solution that has 1 gram of magnesium chloride. So to do this, first thing we're going to do is take our weighing boat and put it onto our balance. And recognize the weighing boat has a certain mass to it. Now, by using the button tare, what that does, let's do it, it sets the balance or the scale back to 0, and that accounts for the mass of the weighing boat. So now what we want to do is we're going to weigh out 1 gram of magnesium chloride. So to do that, what we're going to do is take our magnesium chloride and drag it right over top of that weighing boat that's on the scale. Okay, now it shows how the magnesium chloride has a little spatula here. And what we're going to do is we're going to weigh out precisely 1 gram. So right here, it goes precise. Let's type in 1 gram. And then go to pour. Okay, let's get rid of this. We don't really need this now. This is the item here that sort of is in the way. So we're gonna get rid of that by hitting the X right there. And let's move the magnesium chloride out of the way. And we should recognize that our balance, our scale, I like the term balance because it's actually a balance, it says 1.000 gram. We've done it correctly. So now what we want to do is we're going to add this 1 gram of magnesium chloride to our 100 milliliter volumetric flask. So let's drag this up here and put it over top. And now it gives us another pouring type of situation, just like we did for when we weighed the magnesium chloride on our scale. So let's pour this into the 100 milliliter volumetric flask. And what we're going to do is we're going to choose our precise button once again. Precise. And we're going to precisely add 1.00 gram. Pour it. Okay. Let's get rid of that. It's sort of in the way. Let's hit the X. And notice 1 gram has been transferred. Let's get rid of our weighing boat. It's in the way now. So to get rid of something, toggle it and hit remove. I used the right side of my mouse button. Get rid of it. And we're going to pull our volumetric flask here. And we can also get rid of our scale. So what I'm going to do is use the right side of my mouse, remove, and that's out of the way. So now what we want to do is we want to fill the volumetric flask with deionized water such that the deionized water will have a curved section that's called the meniscus on this calibration mark that's shown there on the volumetric flask. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag the distilled water over the flask. And once again, we're going to get our pour. So sometimes, again, you're going to have to move these things around a little bit. Sometimes they drop below the screen. So be conscious of that. So now the issue that we have to face here is something that's actually true about solutions when we prepare them. We don't want to add just enough water to go right to the meniscus right away to 100 milliliters. That's because when water interacts with salts, our solutes, oftentimes we get some tricky volume changes that we first have to mix it thoroughly and then add water slowly until we get precisely to our 100 milliliters. So what we're going to do in this case, we're just going to add 50. So let's precisely add 50 milliliters, 50.00, and pour it. So we'll touch pour, and it's about half full. So notice it's now 50.236. Again, there's a volume change due to the fact that we added water and it's interacting with our solute. So now we're going to calculate. We would assume in the lab setting we would shake it, let it sit for a bit. We're now going to add just enough water such that our meniscus reaches the 100 milliliter. Now there's a realistic way to do this where you can slowly add the water, but I tell you what, I've seen it overshoot. It's really hard to do it that way. The easier way to do it is to calculate precisely how much water to add to get to the 100 milliliters. So we're going to take 100 minus the 50.236, and that's this number we see right here. And that's going to be 49.764 milliliters. 49.764. And we're going to pour the rest of that in. And now what we would recognize, let's get rid of this. Oh, wow, it had the meniscus on there. Hopefully you saw that. So there was the meniscus on there. The meniscus was the curved portion that sits right near the level of where the water reaches this scale marking. But also you could see here that the volume on here now is exactly 100 milliliters. So let's go over to our data table. On the left side of the screen, there is a data table that gives the precise concentration of the ions that we're focusing on. And these would be magnesium ions and chloride ions. The molarity of these ions are different. That's because as we dissolve magnesium chloride in solution, for every mole of magnesium chloride that we weigh out, we get the same number of moles of magnesium, but we get twice the amount of chloride ions in that volume of solution, and we get different concentrations. So notice magnesium is about half as concentrated as our chloride. Now you'll record these numbers, and then you'll be following your second step using these exact type of processes that I went through here. So hopefully that helped everybody, and good luck on the lab experience that you'll be having. Oh, see how it looks. Live stream, it's still on, and the stream, okay.